Yeah, so I think I have a possible guess as to what the crazy, worse than 9/11, whatever type event on the 23rd could be. Just a guess, looking at the way things are lining up, some kind of nuclear detonation or exchange. It would be faked, of course, because even if nuclear weapons were real, which they're not, they want to have control of the whole situation. And if they were as destructive as, well, they don't exist, so I guess there's no point in going into it. But yeah, it would, either way, it would be faked, is what I'm getting at. But because I've just been watching over the past, I don't know, 24 hours, how the this World War III thing, rhetoric is just ramping up, and there's a lot of shilling for it going on the message boards. People talking about it like, oh, it's gonna be nukes now. I can't believe that. So for whatever reason, they're trying to get people hyped up about it, or the possibility of it. So it seems to be lining up. That's only a couple days from now. So that could be what it is. It would, like I said, it would be completely fake. As is all other things, other events, because the reality here, as is presented to us, is the shit quilt. That's the example I use quite a bit. It comes from the best trailer park supervisor in Nova Scotia, Jim Leahy, rest his soul. A lot of military here this morning too. I'm noticing that too. You know, I mean, this is basically a military base, but you usually don't see that. You don't see a lot of soldiers around. I mean, rarely. And I think I've seen like 3 already this morning. Whatever, I don't know. I'm a noticer. I notice these type of things. So anyway, that could be what the big thing is. That would help to move ahead a lot of the plans they have for their little thing. Yeah. Oh, I just bought up the shirt quilt and then forgot about it. Basically, everything is, all these events historically, major events that happen, like everything else, it's all fake. It's all bullshit, and they're like little squares in a quilt because they're all tied together, right? But it's a shit quilt. It's a quilt of bullshit, and it all has to be fake to work. None of it can be real or true. If it was real or true, you'd notice one of the squares was clean. We could see the truth there and be like, what the fuck is this? Why is this? Oh, this square is clean. Oh, the rest of this has shit on it. This is a shit quilt. So that none of it can be real. It all has to be fake, kayfabe bullshit. Shit quilt. So yeah, I mean, I could see them doing that. You know, it could be some strike somewhere, not near anybody, because they've been making this point about people evacuating in Russia. They say they're trying to avoid a possible draft, but like you can't get a flight out. There's mass exodus going on in the streets. You know, people are leaving in large numbers. Supposedly, this is what the media is showing us in pictures, and this is what it's telling us, you know. So the thing is, you got to remember, none of it's true. What they're doing is they're building a story. I doubt that there is a mass exodus going on in Russia, but they want us to think there is. Like, because it's not just one thing. There's layers upon layers. And some of the things they do are for the benefit of people like us. Case in point here, we would normally look at it and be like, oh shit, people leaving Russia, you know. I think they're gonna have some kind of nuclear thing and people don't want to be caught in it or something like that. That's for us so that we think that. It's several levels of chess these people are playing, you know, and you have to just kind of figure out what it is they're doing. You got to know it's all bullshit, right? It's all theater. No part of it is real, or else none of the system would work. So, but it's why are they trying to get across this particular bullshit? It's kind of frustrating to watch because people really do believe that news. You know, they believe everything they're told. But then again, are these people we're talking about in the same way that we've thought of people traditionally? Or are they just sort of empty vessels, you know, demon taxi cabs? I went on and on about that concept the other day, about how you shouldn't see them as your equal because they're not your equal. And I'm just thinking, this is the fucking thing they're gonna clip to put in my file. one of the things of the highlight reel, you know. But that's why I always say, like, even, well, how could you can't really tell. Like, you'd have to, you know, present them with a series of questions to really figure it out. I mean, I don't have to. I can kind of suss it out. But even if you knew for sure that certain people were robot assets, it doesn't mean you should do anything to them or try to aggress on them anyway, verbally, physically. That would be against your best interest to do that. You got to treat everybody like the way you want to be treated, because this place and its test is behavioral. It's not like a game. It's you can't be. It's the Kobayashi Maru, basically. You can't win. It's just how you behave during the test. That's kind of a truth drop there, that whole Kobayashi Maru thing. If you're not familiar, it's a nerd thing. Star Trek had this test that if you went to Starfleet Academy, you one of the tests they had to do, one of the last ones, is you were in an engagement with an enemy vessel, and it's like it's a simulation, and the captains or the wannabe captains or wannabe lieutenants or whatever have to do this test, and it's a no-win situation. Like there's no way to beat it. It's set that way. So the test wasn't about beating it. It was about to observe the cadets' behavior during the test, and that's what the test was. And that's like here. You're not going to beat the beast. There's just no way. You can starve it. You can certainly fuck with it. You know, a lot of us do. But you can't beat it. Beating it isn't the point. You know, being here. And this is what I think, I mean, one of the things that it was originally made for. It's been flipped and subverted and twisted since, when it became Satan's land. But a lot of the tools are still in play from what it used to be, because we see them, we experience them. They're you know, they're part of our lives. So that could possibly still be running in some capacity, and probably is. So the way to do it is to just try to be good. You know, try to be good, like you're being watched. You know, because you are. And the person you're being watched by is yourself. We all share a collective, a consciousness kind of, you know, collective, where our deeds and actions and thoughts and you know, whatever, all go into what, for all intents and purposes, would be like a cloud, you know, like in internet terms. And we take from it, we put in it, we share experiences, and I think that's where a lot of like deja vu stuff comes in, or a lot of, I just know how to do this, I just know how to stay away from that. And it's also what makes prodigies too. If this kid's 9, he can play Beethoven. He got it from there because somebody else already learned it, you know? So in that way, everything you're doing is seen by everyone that's part of the consciousness, you know? At some level, at some time. You know, nothing is hidden from it because it is you. That's kind of a fucking weird concept, and I probably am not getting it across right. But you're seen, so you want to act accordingly, you know? So you kind of, it's kind of interesting to watch them, because what I try to do is I try to figure out their storylines, and that's what it is. I mean, it's a storyline. It's theater that they play out for our benefit to manipulate emotional responses, to create the energy or loosh to then farm us for, you know, which is what the name of the game is. And by doing that, they take our divinity, which is part of our energy, and they can live eternally like kings and queens in the material realm. I was just talking to someone the other day about carbon atoms, material, matter. It's made up of 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, and 6 protons. Just a coincidence, right? Like, that's, you know, that's the number of man, it's the number of carbon, it's the number of material, it's the number of matter, you know, the number of the beast. I was trying to make a point earlier. I think I made 3 unrelated different ones. It's usually how it goes. But yeah, that's just my guess for crazy incident happening in a couple of days. If anything happens, I mean, nothing usually does. But on the off chance, you know, that's my guess. Some kind of limited nuclear exchange, or some kind of, they'll say it's some kind of dirt. It has to be something that isn't big enough to take out a country or a part of the world, but will have some effect on the world. Like maybe the center they'll have it destroy was, you know, the agricultural center of the world, and that's where you get, oh, they could blame any problem, never mind like the food shortage thing. They could blame anything on it. Well, because of the nuclear exchange between Russia and something, and, you know, again, like, you know, people, I see people talking about like how evil this guy is, and how you gotta back this guy. It's like they're all the same. They're all the fucking same group. There are no individual nations. There's just not. I mean, you know, look into it yourself. You know, I know it's hard to, like, if you've never heard about something like this, it's hard to wrap your head around it. But just look at it yourself. I would love someone to prove me wrong. They're not going to, though, so it's like, you know, whatever. Not with everything, but in this for sure. Like, I look for people, you know, I'm doing this to learn, you know, and I have met some cool people over the past year, and I have learned some things, but it's mainly new things, new concepts, new ideas, new ways of looking at something. It's never been like a concept I already had, or an idea or position I already had, and someone's come along and, you know, got me to think otherwise, or fix it, or was like, no, wait a minute, it's really like this. Like, that's valuable, and I haven't really gotten that yet. So, my batting average is pretty good so far, you know. As far as I know, again, I mean, there's not, you know, I only have so many eyes on what I'm doing, which, you know, is kind of nice. All it takes is, you know, the wrong set of eyes, and you could have problems. I don't want to get banned again, you know. Like, oh man, the story happened yesterday here. I didn't plan to get this on, but I was here this yesterday morning. This black guy was freaking out on this old white man. And I guess, I don't know what he did, but he did something to annoy him. And he was losing his shit, like screaming like a woman. It was madness. Everybody, no one did anything. Everybody was horrified, looking down at the ground. And he was going this whole racial thing, like white people don't run shit in Hawaii. They think they run nothing here. And I'm thinking, white people don't run anything anywhere. The central banks run everything anywhere. They have people with white skin that run those things and run these everything, but they're not white people. They're not traditionally, you know, they got white skin. So I could see where they, you know, they make the assumption, but so yeah, I was telling that story more in detail, and I did a video for like 20 minutes that I just couldn't use, because you got to be careful about what you say, you know, because just one wrong thing that someone doesn't like, and I'm gone again for a week, or you know, or whatever, or something else, you know, and whatever. I'd rather stick around and be able to report than have it all blown up over some stupid thing, you know. I started off with that intent, like, you know, okay, I gotta be careful about how I say this. And then by the time I was wrapping it up, oh, I'm all set, man, thank you. You know, by the time I was wrapping it up, I debunked the North Atlantic slave trade. I can still do it. I just, you know, I don't know. I don't know if that's something that's gonna fly here, you know. It's good though. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.